The setting is Cuenca Stadium, 6,500 feet above sea level. The two teams in opposition in the Copa America, Brazil and Chile. And if history is anything to go by, then Chile need no bother turning up, because they've only won 3 times in 47 meetings. Now, one of the biggest disappointments, of course, of the Copa America so far has been the performance of Brazil. There they are in their famous jerseys there, and a little hug for Muller, a man who didn't play all that well in that first game. Now, to be fair to them, I've already said, and I think I said it in the first game, everybody expects them to come on the stage and perform the little skills and their artistry and little bouts of magic that is long associated with this country, but they're not at full strength. Indeed, I suppose if you took a look at the players who are not here, you could pick an 11 that probably might even win the Copa America. But here we have a team that is supposed to be emerging. After all, the coach Carlos Alberto Pereira has said he wants a truly Brazilian team. He wants to get away from the European style that has developed in the country over the past couple of decades. And I think that's entirely right. However, names to emerge from names that are certainly far from being household at the moment look a remote possibility based on their performance against Peru. I'm not ignoring Chile, of course, at this moment, but I do believe that all lovers of football want this team to perform well. Their team tonight is Carlos, Cafu, Antonio Carlos, Valber, Sampaio, Roberto, Edmundo, Boidero, Muller, Pachinha, and Zinho. And of course, as I said, largely unknown names in Europe. And here we are at the start of the game with the Chilean team. No love lost between these two nations, of course. One of the most famous incidents in World Cup football was in 1989 when the Chilean goalkeeper faked an incident, said he'd been hit by a missile, and the game was initially awarded to them, and then the truth came out and Chile banned from World Cup football. So there's an undercurrent of animosity that exists, at least between the officialdoms, if you like. I'm quite sure that the players are not as bad as that, but you never know what happens in a volatile atmosphere as we have tonight. And up came Este to fire that in, trying to catch Brazil cold. Man in goal is tonight for Brazil, Carlos. Tafarel not playing. We have number 6, Roberto. Muller charging after that, broad-shouldered. Brazilians using him as a sort of hitman, but he didn't get the ball cleanly, and the service to him in any case was poor in that first game against Peru. A bit more drive and pace about that run forward here by Valber. Valber from Sao Paulo, who have just won the South American Copa Libertadores. So you'll be seeing this man playing against Marseille in Tokyo in the winter. Well, that wasn't far away from Muller. And the Chilean defense looking slightly lackadaisical at that moment. Vilches was going down the middle. The Brazilians probably playing with Valber and Antonio Carlos at the back. Just look out the pattern as it develops over the next few minutes. In midfield, we'll have Cafu and Roberto. They'll be wide, I would expect, and then Sampaio, Edmundo and Boidero in midfield. Just behind Muller and Zinho will come Pachinha. And Chile seem to have the bigger support in the stadium tonight, and I think probably that Ecuadorians who would like to see Brazil right out of the way. They are strongly fancying their team, which is going very strong at the moment. Muller. That's a lovely opening. Muller must be offside. Muller, who saw European football, of course, with Torino, played in the World Cup in 86 and 90. Indeed, I saw him playing at 3 of his games. He had a very good game against Sweden, and then scored a goal, a very crucial goal against Scotland in the qualifying section. Coming up in that far side, Cafu with his strong runs again. There are rumours that Real Madrid are interested in him, and you can understand why. He has great pace, really a look of determination about him. But what I did find in the previous game was his final ball into the box was rather poor. I mean, if he could match the final ball with the runs that he has, he would be a very, very good player indeed. Little run forward there by Figueroa. Well, he's got to watch himself. He's not the youngest man, of course. Actually, he's the kind of man whom they will be relying upon in a game of this kind. 31 years of age. A lot of experience. But I think the Brazilians owe it to their own heritage and to the quality of this competition to really put a little more effort into it. They seem to be sitting back so much in that previous first game, and then he simply could not get back into the game. That sometimes happens to teams. They play runs away from them. Well, they obviously are hitting the longer ball now to Muller. They didn't do that quite so often in the first match. This is picked up by Sierra. Only one change in this team, by the way, from that which played last. Barrera, who was a sub in the very first game, coming on number 22. Well, the best goalkeeper at doing that so far has been a Mexican. In fact, he made a meal of it at times. Seemed to enjoy playing sweeper. Played there by Roberto. Pachinha. That's a better ball. A little bit of spin in that, but the goalkeeper from Universidad, Patricio Toledo. Mendoza. Just being caught too much in possession in midfield, Chile. I thought they were very unfortunate against Paraguay in particular. A lot of good moves. Played at pace. And that's a free kick. This is a double header, of course. I think you may have seen previously the game that we showed between Paraguay and Peru in the same stadium, so rather unique double header. Let me remind you the competition: 12 teams, 3 groups of 4. The top 2 go through in each section, and then the best 2 third-place teams forming a quarterfinals, which you'll see Saturday, Sunday on Eurosport. And there's Muller charging after it again. Now this time it was indeed Edmundo who came forward. Muller lying slightly further back. Este. Gentle pace at the start of this game. Trying to seek an opening in a Brazilian defense that didn't look too clever in the first match. This is Mendoza. Opens that up rather well. Figueroa, and wins a corner kick. Well, as I said, a nice bright start by Chile in this match. Chile, not just as notable a footballing nation as Brazil, They've never won this competition, although they've been runners-up 4 times. And of course, you'll probably know, well, at least some of you will remember they hosted the World Cup finals themselves. Hosted them very well indeed, some great games in that tournament. Flicked beautifully across there by Pizarro. Now they're attacking in numbers. Oh, the goalkeeper misses it totally. Wow. Well, I'm not quite sure if there was a deflection there or simply he took his eye off it. Watch it. No, I think he was a little slow going down. Now, the Brazilians have always had problems with the goalkeepers. I mean, which Brazilian boy ever wants to play in goal? They all want to play out. The Copacabana environment led, and haven't been all that satisfied with them. Cafu on the break. Inside him, Edmundo. There's the header by Edmundo. Oh, this is a much more pacey Brazilian team with a look of determination about them that he did not have in that first match. Rising up there, Sampaio. And away go Chile again. Played a lot of neat football in the game I saw them in. Took Chile 50 years of international football to get the first positive result against Brazil. If at first you don't succeed. And the Chileans trying tonight to add to that the number of wins they've had. Only 4 of them. That was put back there by Edmundo. Touched out by Sampaio. Cafu now. Counter-attack. They've drawn Cafu out of position. Timely intervention that. A lot of overlapping by Mendoza. I watched the goalkeeper. I wonder if he's going to be hesitant. Ooh, I think he took 3 efforts to stop that. Wonderful piece of play by Chile. Finished off by Pizarro. Very good run indeed. And look at the way he scooped it away. You always feel about a goalkeeper, if he's taken 2 efforts to try to stop a shot, then he must be at fault. But I wonder about that. That was a nice instinctive scoop that saved the day for Brazil. Figueroa putting that back. Tackled well by Cafu. Better skill, but giving the ball away. Well, I simply think he wanted to get out of the way of the tackle there. I don't think he was relishing the Chilean coming on him. Better move this time, and there's the goalkeeper. First time. No rebounds. And so Carlos from Portuguesa, 37 years of age, very experienced man indeed. Almost venerable at that age. Well, I'm sure Chile have taken a lot out of their early moves. In no way do they look inhibited by the reputation of the Brazilians. Let me repeat, they're not playing the strongest Brazilian side. That was Edmundo trying to get through there. They're looking quite dangerous between Muller and Edmundo and offside. I think it was Boiderio from Cruzeiro, who during the tournament just turned 28 years of age. I like the look of this man, number 2, Mendoza. Good balance, sharp, aggressive. Gets down the wing well. Massive look forward by the Brazilian bench. I wonder if you recognize Mario Zagallo at the back of all that. He was a famous coach of the national side himself. Delightful man in many ways. As was Santana when I met him. Journalist who became the national manager after having criticized so much. They said to him, well, you take over. Can you do any better? The crowd started off by buzzing in anticipation, and now the game has settled into this drifting pattern in midfield. Jockeying for possession. There's certainly Chile at the moment looking the more dangerous side, and Este didn't take off after that. Roberto was lying very deep indeed, and Zinho coming back to pick that up. Well, we always expect the fireworks, but some of the passing going forward has been inaccurate. It was in the first game. They look a much more determined team. Still got to put it together, though. Yes, nicely shepherded there by Valber. When that's put through as a chance here. Well, Barrera should have shot maybe first time. I think in any case, the flag was up. Well, that should add to the confidence. They're getting men into the penalty area, all right. They're getting behind the defense, and the goalkeeper, the Brazilian goalkeeper, doesn't look all that special. The coach there, Arturo Sala. Well, I think both goalkeepers and, I suppose, all outfield players have got to watch the bounce. It really is getting up an awful lot. Saw a miss in the Colombian game, a perfect header, headed down towards the line and simply bounced over the bar. There's a great effort. Oh, it's a wonderful goal! Sierra opens the scoring against Brazil. To the delight of the Ecuadorians. And I think he almost went for a lap of water, and perhaps he deserves it for that. Look at his run. Intelligent play there, but he had to pull it back to his better foot. Now the two players converging, the goalkeeper narrowing the angle, all of that complexity, but he made it look so simple. Well, I suppose it does their heart good to realize that their historical pedigree is not nearly as good as Brazilians, and yet with emphatic football and justifiably, they have gone one up. They have looked the more dangerous side. Now, here's a challenge. Brazil pretty pathetic in the first game. Now they're one goal down in the first quarter against a nation whom normally they can brush aside with almost contemptuous ease. Can they rise to this? What are we going to see? Carlos Alberto Parreira has already made his intentions clear that he wants Brazilian type football, one-touch stuff, magic round the box, good finishing. Well, all of these are on trial, I suppose. And which of these names will emerge as a great one in the future? I don't see anything so far. Well, if you've been watching Eurosport's coverage of this event, that goal by Chile was reminiscent of many of the moves they had against Paraguay, and just a little bit, unfortunately, they couldn't put the ball in the back of the net. So they are showing they've a good structure to the side. A lot of running. Touched in there by Pacina. Still that easy-looking flow from the Brazilians, trying to look as unruffled as possible. Roberto. That's what the locals think about it. We've been regaled by 2 football matches tonight. The ending of the Paraguay-Peru game was infinitely better, the last 15 minutes, than the whole of the rest of the game put together, as Peru suddenly stepped up a pace for no accountable reason. I think the very fact that they had gone behind, of course, did that, and one wonders if Brazil will do exactly the same tonight. Played out to Cafu. Then Antonio Carlos. They watched that very well. That's better play, and perhaps Boidiero should have been looking very carefully away across field. I mean, it was an absolute certainty they were going to play him offside. If a move builds up in midfield that slowly, then the front runner has got to be coming back towards it, because an intelligent defense will simply walk out. Well, they can't afford to be casual in midfield, Chile, that's for sure. Now here's Sierra. Antonio Carlos. Nice ball forward there. Roberto. Oh, driven in, and wonderful clearance. Ramirez getting that final touch. Difficult ball for a defense side. Pacina coming up. And down he goes. Yes, he really got that full on, and I think the Brazilians want him off the pitch. That's exactly where he's going. It is in fact Vilches who went down there. Oh, he controlled that well. Unlucky to get away, Pacina. Well, they're opening up this defense now. Really, I think, disturbed by going behind. Good play by Mendoza. Muller trying to push that back, and does. He gets it there. Good ball to the outside. Has the flag gone up? It has. So wonderful moves by Sierra and Barrera together. Wonderful 1-2 producing that goal. One man making it, the other man finishing it. I suppose both could claim it almost. Now Muller gets a break. Wonderful chance for the Brazilians. Oh, he passed the buck. Oh, they're almost passing out of their minds with that. Total confusion between the two defenders. Ramirez didn't know where to put it. Now Muller, he really should have gone for that himself. 27 years of age, he's got enough experience, but still they're going on, Brazil. The Chileans must be enormously pleased with this situation at the moment. They deserve to be one up. And if Brazil carry on the way they're carrying on, then I think we're going to see a major upset. Well, there you are. There was nothing much in that. I like both fullbacks, the one on the other side as well, Cafu, and on this side, Mendoza. Really is astonishing that Brazil have only won this tournament 4 times to Argentina's 14 and Uruguay's 13. Sometimes said they don't take it all that seriously. Indeed, once in one of the Copa Americas, they played a provincial side instead of the entire national side. And at times, particularly in the first game, this team have looked very provincial. Well, Muller wanted protection from the referee before any real contact was made. Well, but the proudest man afield will certainly be Sierra. That glorious strike. Beautifully set up by Barrera. The major hand in it, and Sierra with that final touch. Oh, touch, explosive shot. Trying to make inroads into this defense. The Brazilians are finding this very difficult indeed. Forward comes Roberto. I think that'll be a free kick. Although I think he just simply ran into that himself. Figueroa not at all happy about that. Slightly thinning on top, gives an indication of the years he's been around in football. Well, I think that was the right kind of ball. I don't think you could criticize Antonio Carlos for that. They want to try to draw the goalkeeper forward. Putting it anywhere near this man, Toledo, and he'll pluck it up. That shows you Edmundo, even at this early stage in the game, they're worried about the time slipping past. Playing it wide to Cafu. Been rather quiet in the last 10 minutes. Most of the play on the left. Now that's better skill by Boydero. And it goes for the 1-2, and again offside. Pachinha, and you'd have to agree there, the Chilean defense seemed to be playing and operating this extremely well, coming out as a man in line. Yes, just offside. Just now picked up by Sampaio. Played right across there. At the back, Antonio Carlos. Cafu. And look how the Chileans were beating them for pace, which is most unusual. He did get his final shot in there. Drove forward very well indeed. And just inside, Pachinha was waiting. Play centered mostly in midfield, and Brazil certainly seeing more of the ball now. That's Pachinha going down. And there's going to be a yellow card for number 5, Ramirez. Quickly taken. Now Roberto. Being pushed out there by Mendoza. Brazil certainly putting on the pressure now, that's for sure. And I think you could hear the coach screaming at them from the background. Muller ran well for that one, but his control is letting him down. That's why I think he's so un-Brazilian-like. He's a bustling kind of European-style forward. Mendoza being caught in possession. This could be dangerous. Touched on there by Sampaio. Then Guaidero. Can they play it wider? It's all very congested there. On the far side, Cafu again. Oh, a disappointing ball. No, I think this is a somewhat marginally better performance than against Peru. I think largely down to attitude. It seems to be sharper tonight. But a lot of the elementary skills are letting them down, which is very surprising from a Brazilian side. I mean, getting the ball under possession, moving it around freely, used to be one of the cardinal virtues of Brazilian football. Now they look to be struggling. Run forward there by Cafu. He certainly has the pace. You'll have noted that. Inside to Edmundo. Good run to the line, and he gets the corner, does he? I think he kept it in fact. Yes, he did. And that's what I was talking about, Cafu. That ball that Cafu played into the penalty area was a disappointing one. Overhead kick, though, by Edmundo, not coming off. The goalkeeper always had that covered. Mendoza, I think he's getting a little ambitious, this right fullback. Just pushing forward a little too much. That could possibly expose him. Up comes Cafu again. Now then, what's his final ball going to be like? No, decides to give it away. Here he goes. This is vital. Oh, that's, again, far too loose. He wasn't at all sure of himself. What a brilliant player he would be if he could finish. Broken up by Antonio Carlos. Muller free. He's onside. Drives it in and taken away at the post brilliantly there. Vilches just getting that touch. I don't think it was the best of balls either. I mean, either a defender or a goalkeeper was going to cut that off. Either it should have been cut back or chipped to the far post. Now Palinha. A lot more pressure now by Brazil. Cafu again, he just hammered it right in. Ooh, that's sore. Again, it was Vilches who's been in the wars in this game, that's for sure. Well, let's go back to that beautiful goal won by Barrera and Sierra. Between them putting Chile in a very deserved lead, although Brazil have come back into it more strongly. I think they're very concerned when you see the ambulance men on so very quickly about injuries at this level. We already saw one Colombian player being taken off as if he would never come back again, and yet he was back in the field in a couple of minutes. So off goes Vilches. I don't think they'll substitute quite yet. Anyway, the hero of the day is Sierra for that wonderful strike for Chile. Oh, that's a run forward. Muller, can he get free now? Well, by the law of averages, he's going to get onto the end of one of these. This is Roberto. Now they're putting the emphasis on playing down this left. Oh, it went the wrong way. Backed up well, though, by Sampaio. That's a shot. Oh, wonderful goal! I said by the law of averages, and would you believe it's turned out to be so. Watch how Muller does this. He's on the edge of the box. Lovely little flick on there by Palinha, and driven in with the utter confidence of a man who's determined to show his critics that he's still a powerful finisher. So Muller makes it 1-1. Well, that's more like a Brazilian finish. What we've seen so far has been a rather pallid impersonation. Now where they go, Zinho. And the true character of Brazilian football coming out now. They're exhilarated by that goal. It's a difficult one, well taken though by Toledo. Here's Sierra, the goal scorer. Can't get it to Figueroa, who's looking a little bit slow, like Valderrama and Hugo Sanchez perhaps had their day. And now the Brazilians catching up the rhythm of what we saw from Miller on the terracings with that Brazil chant. Marvelous strike. He's had a poor game thus far. Indeed, he was almost non-existent against Peru. And that's just to show everybody he's not finished yet. A rather odd clearance there by Valbert. They must have been stung by all the criticism. And also the manager, away they go, it's kept in. Still there, still running forward. Valbert puts it back, oh, wasted. Now, can he get the shot in? Dreadful over-elaboration, that should have been in the back of the net. Magnificent run by Valbert. That was something like a 70-yard run. And they overdid it. We've gone back to that goal by Müller again, though. Now Cafu. Oh, the steam is up, there's no doubt. Real head of steam in this Brazilian team now. This is more like them. Marcu, I would not swap Carlos Alberto Pereira's job for anything. He has a vast array of talent playing in European football. And then he has local cup competitions vying with players against the Copa America. He has regional differences, 25 regions in the country. Cafu going forward, and he can't get United, and he's got to manage a national side. Not an easy job, plus the fact everybody thinks Brazil should be world champions. Well, that was a Palinha jumping over that. Oh, they're broken away. I think it's going to be offside, though. We've seen hardly anything of Chile in the last 20 minutes. More and more, the Brazilians have controlled this game. Looking for that 1-2. Where's the speed? Roberto gets it. Oh, Roberto, beautiful stuff. Puts it back. There's a shot. It goes, a deflection. And again, it's so brilliantly saved. Toledo. And at least 3 efforts to put it in the back of the net, but I think the last one was offside. The Brazilians now in full flow. That shot was offside. And I think they're now posting a warning to everybody that they're beginning to settle again into the normal stride. Great play by Roberto. It's remarkable what a good goal will do to the confidence of a side. And look at this, they're winning every ball, stroking it about confidently. The Chileans absolutely nowhere now. That was the determination I was talking about, the renewed determination as Palinha went in for that. Now they're linking the passes, but they've got to get the drive and the pace into the penalty area as out comes Toledo. Oh, it's a little bit short, but the goalkeeper ready for that. I think the Chileans are now looking a little bit worried. Brazil in almost total control of this game now. A little bit too hard there and careless by Boydero. Touched in there to the goal scorer, Sierra. Appeals for pushing. I don't think the referee's going to do anything at all about that. Trying to catch Muller again, and it's pretty straightforward. They like to put that ball when they can just ahead of the bustling striker. Well, Mendoza anxious to get after this. Mendoza plays for the very famous club Colo Colo. He's only 25. I think he's got a great future there. Looks very snappy, and I would suspect the Europeans, and there are many managers across here, will snap him up. Valber with it from Sao Paulo. Sao Paulo will do what Colo Colo did a couple of years ago. Colo Colo played Red Star in the final of the World Club Championship, failing to beat Red Star, of course. And we're seeing more of these runs off the Brazilians. Wonderful chance again. Is he going to score? No! This time, Palinha, who scored prolifically in the Copa Libertadores, just misjudging it. And now, from a nervous and tentative start to this game, Brasilia are totally in command. A little bit of a nudge there by Edmundo, getting towards the end of this first half. There we are, now in stoppage time, and a glorious last 20 minutes by Brazil in this half. Offside, crowd don't like that. Here's Palinha. Rather slack one. I think we'll see the Brazilians playing in little spasms. They're going to pace themselves even yet, but now we know they can do it. They do have the ability there. There goes the halftime whistle. I think perhaps the most remarkable transformation has been their attitude. I mean, you'd have got the impression from the first game that they were playing a little beach game down in Copacabana and being distracted by some of the other attractive sights there. They didn't seem to have the mind on the game at all. And now they've been rebuked, criticized, vilified from one end of the globe to the other by so many people who love Brazilian football. I think it's got through to them. The Brazilian team, a much transformed and regenerated Brazilian team, just walking onto the pitch just now. And in the last 20 minutes of the first half, we saw something like the true Brazilian pedigree. Marvelous strike by Muller to equalize that early goal by Sierra for Chile. That was a great goal too. Wonderfully worked with Barrera, and Sierra finishing it strongly. So two explosive shots we've seen in a game infinitely better than the last one we saw Brazil involved in against Peru. There's a 37-year-old goalkeeper in place tonight as a substitute for Taparel, and we've noticed as the Chilean goalkeeper Toledo goes away down to the other end that Brazil have brought on a substitute, Viola from Corinthians. Big lad, young lad, 21 years of age, has come on, and the various coaches coming around here. I think possibly the Chileans are now anxious that the Brazilians are about to unleash their full power at them. Now, we were beginning to doubt Mario Zagallo there, by the way, that venerable gentleman at the end, looking at some notes. And beside him, right beside him, Carlos Alberto Pereira, 48 years of age. Zagallo's in his 70s now. Wonderful old man. And off go Brazil at the start of a second half, which promises a lot. This very good fullback there, Mendoza with it. Set to go to Europe. Now looking for little 1-2s. The Chileans played some very good, fluent attacking football in the first 15 minutes of the game, but then Brazil, like this, took over. Look at them clustering in midfield and then opening it out, using the pace much better than they did in that opening game. And there's Müller. Well taken though by Toledo. Müller hovering in the background. He had only one chance there. A little slip and two Brazilians were right on top of him. Müller offside for the umpteenth time. Marku, he should care. I talked about the law of averages. There's a substitute, by the way. Viola. I talked about the law of averages. He just kept edging into this Chilean defense. He was being caught offside. And some of his efforts near goal were rather poor, but the one that counted was spectacular. Hooked away there by Ramirez, who's, let me remind you, had a yellow card, and if you get two, you miss a game automatically. Brazil still on the attack, and again, Müller foiled. Well, the reason why we've had a Brazilian performance of attacking is they've used the width of the field extremely well, with the likes of Cafu, and on the other side, Valber. I recall that magnificent 70-yard run by Valber. Now away goes Sampaio. Notice how flat that defense was, playing four right across the back. Getting into a cluster there, but remaining very cool, Antonio Carlos. Oh, this is better play by Brazil. Beautiful ball right inside. Must be a second goal. No! Toledo has had a marvelous start to the second half. Beautifully set up there. And coming into it, Paulinho, the man you would have expected, Paulinho, to put that away. The ball swept in by Boidero. The goalkeeper narrowing the angle, and that is technically very sound goalkeeping, sliding in and getting the legs in. And the goalkeeper's been hurt into the bargain. Now he's saved 3 times in the last, the opening 3 minutes of this game. Well, I did say there was a spring unleashing amidst that Brazilian squad. Lovely touchdown. They're opening him up on the left in particular. That's again was Boidero going down to the left. Now the counter-attack. Mendoza can't get it away though. They've lost so much possession in midfield, the Chileans. A little ball inside. That was Viola, the substitute. I said about him, he's a strong character. Well, Brazil can claim the South American club champions in Sao Paulo. Valber, the player playing for him. Müller, of course. Paulinho, all from that club. Paulinho, the top scorer in the Libertadores. What a marvelous final that will make with Marseille. Flicked in by Guevara. Play rather slowing down by Chile. Chile have been out of this game from about Ooh, 25 minutes before halftime, the Brazilians began to tramp a bit. Well, thank heavens for the sake of this tournament that Brazil look to be taking things very seriously now. I just wonder if they had got a kind of drab win over Peru, 1-0 say, that we would have seen them just coasting along, not caring too much about it, just qualifying for the final sections. But the fact that they were beaten has bitten into them, and we're seeing the product and reaction of that tonight. Well, you could see that Mendoza was in two minds as to what to do with that. Been well backed up, though, by Vilches. Vilches defending very stoutly. Now, away goes Lepi. Lepi, a very good-looking player, but he has an astonishing disciplinary record, been sent off 5 times in 5 seasons. Not bad going, good average. Well, they were forced into that. Valber making that mistake, just getting a little bit too casual. Of course, the two nations met in the final of the Copa Libertadores, with Universidad Católica taking on Sao Paulo. So they know each other pretty well. That's a bit of break forward. Is it going to be a goal? It is! It's the second one! And a goal coming forward like that, beautifully struck in. Quite remarkable. And Zambrano, the substitute, getting the touch over the goalkeeper just as Brazil seemed to have outright supremacy. Zambrano makes it 2-1, 7 minutes into the second half. Well, this game never ceases to astonish me. I would have written Chile off altogether. I think you could perhaps discern that from what I was saying. So here comes that second goal. That's very cutely taken by Zambrano. Well, that gives the Brazilians something to think about again. There they were, looking cool but determined. They're certainly after their win. And then suddenly they find themselves so early in the second half up against it again. I think where Brazil improved in this game was their midfield play and linking up with the runners like Zinho, Palinha and Müller, but never tested at the back until now. The appeal for a penalty. Oh, they get it. Oh, dear, dear, dear. Oh, I think the Chileans have a right to be annoyed about that. Well, let's see that one again, please. That looked to me like the Brazilian taking a leap like a salmon. Well, they're still arguing about it. Watch it, Müller. Oh no, wait a minute now. Now from that angle, I think the referee was perfectly correct. What it does show you. Well, I wonder if football should institute something like the cricketing decision to have a third umpire or a third referee with a television screen just to clarify things. But from the camera behind the goal, it certainly looked like it. Palinha now with the penalty. Müller might have slightly embellished the fall, but I think nevertheless it was a penalty eventually. Here he comes Polina. That's the equalizer. Ten minutes gone, and they're back even again. And I think they'll be after blood now. Taking that very coolly indeed against a very good goalkeeper, Patricio Toledo, 30 years of age. He might have been wrong-footed there, but he hasn't put a foot wrong previously, and his handling has been extremely safe. Nice, cool customer though. Polina under pressure. They had to put that one away, and Chile offside. Well, that's the scoreline at the moment, and I really do believe the spectators are enjoying this game, one of the best of the Copa America so far. Muller again coming forward. He may have been offside. Oh, watch the penalty. I'd far rather see the incident again myself. We only had one look at Muller, and I have to say, from the camera angle behind the goal, it looked to me like a penalty. Although how the referee could tell, because he was on the other side of the tackle. Well, if Chile had added to that, I think the Brazilians may have buckled, even though they were very much on top. But now they're back on level terms again. Oh, he's a good player, isn't he? Just couldn't quite get it away there. Muller chasing after. No, it's the substitute, Viola. He's even bigger than Muller. You always feel about the Brazilians that nobody would really mind them losing in a game, especially in the World Cup, so long as they turned on the entertainment and went after goals. It was since he began to develop the ideas of a much more physical European structure and foundation, way back, by the way, 1974, not as recently mentioned against Lazzaroni. They were trying that way back in the German World Cup. It didn't pay off for them in the days of Rivellino. And the great team of Pele, Garincha, etc. Beautiful through. Can he put it in? No. Guevara went right through. It was a very difficult shot indeed for Guevara. He had the goalkeeper narrowed the angle, and the two players at the near post. So Chile fighting back again. It goes deep, was the third one. There, the second goal by Zambrano. The man who come on at halftime gets his second goal with the most delicately glanced header. Look at that, right as a challenge, a one-to-one confrontation with the defender. And Carlos, absolutely no chance at all. A glorious goal. So Chile, to their credit, taking it on the chin and coming back. But oh dear, the marking. I mean, they really should not allow a player to come forward as easily as that. And now what's been given at the other end. Muller going right through as we watch that replay. And this game boiling over. Out comes the Chilean coach. He's not at all happy. Arturo Sala. Well, let me put it, he was annoyed with what the Brazilians were trying to get away with there. I'm sure he's delighted that they scored that goal. And so the crowd, what a challenge for Brazil now. They really are staggered. I mean, it's there's a palpable feel about them now, as if they've been insulted by that third goal. How dare Chile put it away like that? Twice behind, twice coming back. So 15 minutes gone as the Mexican wave begins to acknowledge the great efforts of these two teams in one of the best games of the Copa America so far. So this is Pizarro to take this. Headed away by Valber's, been back mostly in defense in the past 5 minutes. A very edgy, suddenly very edgy and nervous-looking Brazilian side. Now they've got to take a grip of themselves, get the balance and composure again. Touched on to the outside. Muller trying to push that back. And the Chileans suddenly have improved in midfield. I think that's the major difference in them in the second half. And bringing on that substitute, Zambrano with the 2 goals. Quite astonishing that. The coach will be pleased. They really have a fight in their hands now. Chileans have declared quite simply that they can score quality goals. Cafu, brilliant run. This is what he's good at. Now what's the final ball like? Oh, it lets him down again. What a pity he hasn't mastered that aspect of his game. He has the pace, he has the beating of players, but he cannot embellish it. Trying to string it together. Palinha took his eye off that. Nicely pushed forward by Antonio Carlos, who's trying to come forward. It's far too high, and that's easy for the goalkeeper. Well, the clutch was in the air, but I think he got a little bit histrionic about it. Now watch his goal again. That's a brave header as well, because the defender was as near to the ball as he was. Glorious header. Sierra. They're playing so well. Este. Oh, he does it well. Este's still going forward. Almost a Brazilian touch about him that time. Dispossessed though by Pizarro. Make it almost 20 minutes gone of this greatly and welcomingly absorbing game. So much better than some of the anemic stuff we've been watching. Hooked across by Mendoza. Guevara. Mendoza, just as good as Cafu is. Ball taken away now. They're vulnerable when he comes forward, and Brazil can exploit that gap. Touched by Boydero. Now Palinha. And they're getting their men back. Ramirez is there. Now Viola. This is Cafu. Peel for Woods, comes all the way through. Can he put it in? It's an own goal. No. Oh, from here, it looked as if it was going into the back of the net. And Palhinha suddenly crept into the picture. Nobody knew he was coming in from the back. And for a moment, it looked like an own goal. We're going to make another substitution here. It's number 16, Paragues from Universidad Católica, the finalists for the Copa Libertadores coming on. Paragues, and off goes Estay, the man who probably tired himself out with that lovely little run about a couple of minutes ago. So Paragues is on. I think a free kick. As Chile now try to maintain that lead. Touch forward there by Valverde. We haven't seen him running so much down the left. A little warming up session going on here with Eddie Velton from Cruzeiro. He was supposed to play in that very first game, but didn't. Well, Chile are knocking it about confidently again. Oh, and that was Pizarro. He just wanted rid of the ball. Very fortunate to get it through to Mendoza. I think that's going to be a free kick. Free kick it is. Looks to me like Barrera was shaping up for this. Alongside him, Lepe, the man who's been sent off 5 times in 5 seasons. Yes, it was Sierra, and there's the shot. Sierra laid it off. Well, certainly Brazil have now got to consider their defense very carefully indeed. They've rather let them down now after so much effective work in midfield. Valverde. Inside to Boydero. They're closing down Brazil much more effectively now in the second half. Or Puri's ball, and I think the rest of the Brazilian players realize that. Look at Muller. Muller says, I want number 9, I want the ball to feet. But Mendoza is not only a capable defender, he's as dangerous as anybody else when Chile come forward. Striking that into no man's land, and I think Chile will be getting confident. We have played almost 25 minutes of the second half. They're still in the lead, 3-2. Sampaio at the back. Muller chasing this and bustling. I think that's a free kick. Yes, it is indeed. Muller appealing to the goalkeeper, I think. He's not going to get very much out of him. The Chilean players, unlike some of the other nations, virtually all of them playing in their own country, just one or two abroad. So unlike Uruguay, where the vast majority of them are away, and of course Brazil, with so many of their players not here, some great players, of course. But nevertheless, something expected of this lot. Looking daggers at each other. Guevara getting in a very hard tackle. Fabian Guevara from the University de Chile. And now here's that substitution. Eli Velton is now on. Eli Velton from Cruzeiro. And no chance of getting that as we now go into the last 20 minutes of the game. Well, they've taken their top goal scorer off, Palinha. I think the coach must have been judging. He was getting a little bit tired. They will not want to be beaten in this one, the Brazilians, that's for sure. And now suddenly they've disintegrated from an extremely confident team at the start of the second half. And I extolling their virtues. Suddenly they look very ordinary and rather clueless at the moment. Now they're having to go hunt and search the ball as Chile do what Brazil were doing to them in the first half, just keeping useful possession. It's deep, it's well marked, and it's very obvious. And at this juncture, they may be taking a breather. Brazil seem to be running out of steam. That's a better ball all the same. And I think he still has it. Lovely play by Boitero, and a poor ball, though. Free kick, I think he had his heels taken apart there. This will be taken by Vilches from Colo-Colo. Nicely brought down there by the sub. Zambrano. What a useful player, Zambrano. He tried to get away again there. That'll be a free kick. And I don't think Sampaio likes that. But a free kick is going to be. Now this could be very interesting indeed. They have some men who can rattle a ball in from that distance. And now the very anxious goalkeeper, Roberto Carlos. There's the defensive wall. Got it well back, and the shot at goal, and I would think 90% of these free kicks from that area have been very badly misjudged by players. And I think the general consensus view is it's something to do with the thinner atmosphere at altitude. The ball tending to fly up a little. And no punch or drive about the Brazilians at this stage. It's all gone. And one hopes again, not for good in this game. Now, if they were able to pull one back now, it would make for a marvelous finish in the last 15 minutes, which we're just about to enter. That's Muller playing that bustling part of his, but he got it away very well. This is where they've lost possession a lot in midfield, Brazil, in the last 15 minutes. There we are, into the last 15 minutes. Better play. No, I don't think it's good enough, though, as Elie Velton tried to turn away down, getting his first real look at the ball down the left. Well, he'll take his time about it. I wouldn't blame the Chileans now for wasting as much time as they possibly can. This would be a notable victory. As I said at the start, only 3 times have they beaten Brazil. They have to wait 50 years for the first victory. Now on the verge of the 4th. Quite simply running out of ideas, Brazil. They've got to come up with something special. Muller, is he offside again, and this time with Viola with him. And they've lost their way, there's no doubt about that. The interesting thing about the group sections and the winners and runners-up playing the winners of the alternative section is that if Brazil didn't win the section, which looks more and more likely, it gets them out of the way of playing Ecuador, and that means that Ecuador would avoid the bigger teams, Brazil, Uruguay, Argentina, right through to the final. So you can well imagine why the Ecuadorians here are favoring Chile in this game. Still a lack of urgency about 1 or 2 of these Brazilian players. I mean, they must realize we've now got about 13 minutes remaining. They're trailing. They haven't been able to get the ball through to Muller so effectively. And all that sparkling play has disappeared. What we're getting now is not so much a test of skill, or even of nerve, it's one of character, whether they can pick themselves up from this adversity. As Guevara is on, and I think the referee wants him to get on with it, perhaps suggesting that Guevara is down for a little rest. There's the figure of Cafu, who's interesting. Real Madrid, you can understand why, because of his pace. And if they can work on his final ball, he'll be some player. Guaiderio. Antonio Carlos, elegant, cool figure. They're giving it away. Now the counter-attack. This is the goal scorer, Zambrano. What a game he's had, giving it out there to Mendoza. Touched on there by Sierra. Broken out by the coolness of Antonio Carlos at the back. And that's a bit of a gift. Nicely to the side. Too many Chileans back. Oh, there's a great chance. Brilliantly saved, but I think it may be offside. It was indeed. And the Chileans now getting great support from the Ecuador, largely Ecuador crowd. Now this is the offside given there. Yes, it was. A couple of players offside. Ooh, Antonio Carlos just getting there. Muller has gone wide. The ball breaking away from him too easily, though. Great play by Mendoza. He really is a fine Mendoza going right. Can he keep it in play? He does. Oh, he just overdid it. I think the sheer effort of keeping that in play meant he had to lose possession. Here he is again, Mendoza. He doesn't get a free kick for that. That was play acting. I would book that sort of thing. Oh, well, Valverde thought the ball was going down to the other end of the field. Took his eye right off it. I think he might have been slightly injured. That's a better ball. Look at all the space that's been created. Guevara with a shot and getting in the way is Sierra, unfortunately, the goal scorer, the first goal scorer. Antonio Carlos wants to come forward. Oh, they're losing possession far too easily. So little time left for them. 8 minutes, I make it. Still 3-2 for Chile. Better brought down, and well, the substitute Viola has done very little since coming on. I think he might be useful for his height, but he hasn't had any of that service at all. Where they go, Sierra. Nice ball in there as it's picked up again by Brazil. Oh! Zambrano. He almost opened up a pathway for him. Muller appealing for a free kick. I think he'll get that. Look at the way Zambrano forced his way forward. A revelation in this second half. And that would really have killed Brazil. I think they're going to call for the physio. Well, that's the Chileans you can hear in the background, and again the ambulance men coming on. The referee having a word with them, and they're annoyed. Valverde is annoyed. The injury does seem to be serious. They're telling them to be very cautious. I don't think they trust them. And it is indeed the sub Viola. Off he goes. I don't think he'll come back again. Well, he's getting the right treatment. And a booking for Guevara. We'll look across to the Brazilian bench. If anybody comes on. Just going off the Chilean player, I would have thought. Well, it's a bit of a paradox that Brazil have improved their play enormously, and yet they're finding themselves behind. It attests to the quality of the Chileans going forward. So much out of the game in the first half. And then that inspired substitution, Zambrano coming on. Well, driven forward more in hope than anything else by Valverde. And you begin to wonder if Brazil have lost the spirit to save this game. Just about 5 minutes remaining. Deep one. Bit of hesitation there by Carlos Alberto, but Taken down brilliantly by Cafu. There he goes, Miller. Doesn't seem to have the drive and the pace. Oh, that was Zinho, in fact, going for that. That was their substitute, Paraguez. What they want to do is keep possession. Well, at least that's what they should be doing. Trying nothing spectacular. But away they break. Zambrano. Mendoza. Well, that's ahead of the goal, but much too simple by Barrera. I don't know whether he was tired or not, but he was uncovered and he really ought to have done better than that. Angled it away from the goalkeeper. We're now in the last 5 minutes. And they're going in the wrong direction. Almost slow to a walking pace, Brazil. And that was more in hope than in vain. And I think that Brazil look as if they're burned out. We shall see if a miracle can happen in the last 3.5 minutes now. Chasing after it, the sub. That's not a bad ball, but who's coming in from the right? Taken out by Cafu, and he didn't have any support. That was a problem there. Well, they've done extraordinarily well, Chile, in the second half. I thought they were on the borderline of being taken apart. And that second strike really sickened Brazil. Well, I think he was right to try that, Sierra. Because apart from anything else, it wastes time. The shot at goal from way out. I now make it about just about 2 minutes by my watch. Still 3-2, a notable victory. If it comes off, only the 4th in their long history against Brazil. Yes, they're devoid of inspiration. Now, can they make me eat my words in the last few seconds of this game? It's not offside. Oh, well, for a moment, the referee was going to let play on, then he quickly looked across to the linesman. And the most disappointed man, surely, Carlos Alberto Pereira. He did see something of promise for about 25 minutes at the end of the first half. And then suddenly it's all come apart again. Well, he's doing that in the wrong half of the field. That's the point. I now make it 1.5 minutes. Chile want to hold the ball. On you go, take it to a corner, you feel like shouting at them. Yes, that's the way to play it around. They win the throw, they know the seconds are ticking away. Exactly 1 minute remaining. And this will stun the whole of Brazil that these players have now gone 2 games. An improved performance by a long way in the second game, and yet they may conceivably only have 1 point to show for it. Taken by Guevara. There he is, doing the orthodox time-wasting thing. Goes into the corner, and tempers might be getting frayed. Antonio Carlos looks to be going to I thought he was going after the player. It's away deep. We're into stoppage time. The goalkeeper gets it. I think they must be indicating from the bench that it's almost all over. An historic win coming up for Chile. The crowd whistling for the referee to put an end to it all. And brought down by one of the best players in the tournament so far, I think. The fullback, Chile has Mendoza, who won't last in Chile all that long, I don't think. Now, into the box it goes. There it goes, the final whistle. Chile have done it. Would you believe it? A team I would have written off at half-time. All the portents were against them. The Brazilians were rising in ascendancy, finding their touch, but two superb goals by Zambrano in the second half put pay to any chance. A penalty by Pelinha almost got them back into the game again, but Zambrano getting the third. A delighted coach, Arturo Sala, going to the dressing room, I'm sure to heap praise on the way his players kept their nerve. I think that was probably the biggest feature of all. The Chileans could have crumbled. They refused to do so, and they found in Zambrano, bringing him on in the second half, a player of great balance and temperament. Wonderful the way he got into the box, the way he did to get that finish, and that header must go down as one of the best strikes in the championship, equaled by the Ecuadorian striker in the very first game. But I think the way he got in front of the defender courageously and then glancing it away from the keeper was as good as you could get. Good performances all round. And as I said, the paradox was that Brazil were playing so well at that stage. What they didn't have were the greatly experienced players to take adversity and turn it into their advantage. They couldn't do that. They simply don't have that experience with them. These are budding and prospective players, and somehow or other they couldn't bring it off. This was Zambrano coming through there to score a goal that meant so much, done delicately and so coolly, as Chile get their fourth victory ever over Brazil.